Chadwick Boseman, Nipsey Hussle, and our brothers and sisters who were victims of police violence, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Black, and many, many others. And if I had to sit here and just name all the people that have gotten injured and all the Black people, it would take up the rest of the day for all of us. So as you see, there are many victims, but sometimes it's not necessarily victims. It's people that have overcome such obstacles that you will have to overcome in your time here. The struggle continues as we gather our thoughts to acknowledge that Black lives matter. Our declaration is of faith. Believe in joy, not sadness. Believe in truth, not falsehood. Believe in health, that no disease will kill me. Believe in success, whereas failure is not impossible. When I got through college and when I went to college, when I first started out in college at the age of 16, things changed. You learned that the world was different than what it was in the small town in which I grew up. I was in college when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I went to Mississippi to a civil rights rally where I saw Malcolm X. And I was excited about marching alongside other college students, trying to make and contribute to things that were changing at that time. However, things really remained the same in the South for a long, long time. Now we are right back where we started from, only in it's different now. And by that I mean, racism is running rampant throughout the United States, from the Capitol with the January 6th insurrection to the streets of all cities throughout the country. It seems that we are now in a new era, or is it the same? Just the name has changed. It seems that Black lives do not matter to many. It seems that the achievement gap between Blacks and other students of color in higher education is widening instead of narrowing, because there is systematic institutionalized racism in higher education. By doing things like delegitimizing your spirit, I am here to tell you that racist encounters in the academia does exist. I know I have been there. My stay here at my school that I support by paying taxes to the state of California was questioned on one occasion. If you have not already been told that you are not smart enough, or looked at when you're sitting in an honors class and your professor say, this is an honors biology, and state, I hope everyone truly belongs here, looking right at you. As though you were illegitimate. Sadly to say, this kind of intimidation do happen. I'm here to tell you, young people, you need to close a blind ear and eye to that kind of nonsense. It's just crap. And when I mean crap, I mean people that are trying to get your resistance down. So what you have to do is continue resistance against peace. Crap. When those things happen to you, just think of Jackie Robinson, Ralph Bunche, Angela Davis, Michelle Obama. Ask yourself, what would they have done in this situation? And then you make a decision. Believe me, you will be questioned, and unfortunately, make you question your own ability. You may struggle. What you have to do is to keep on declaring that I am blessed, I am prosperous, I am the favor of God. Every time you say it, you will be getting closer and closer to seeing a positive outcome. I believe God placed people in your life for two reasons. One, as a blessing, and two, as a lesson. Sometimes it can be both. And I know all of you that read the Bible know the story about David and Goliath. David, this little fellow that conquered the giant Goliath. Well, sometimes I think that God put a Goliath in your life for you to find the David within yourself. I believe I'm here to give you some food of thought and I hope motivate you and at the same time to encourage you to go beyond your current status in the next plateau of your journey. So you see, God gave me my Goliath, and I had to find my David within myself. I see your activities for today is surrounded the theme, Blacking the Ivory Tower, occupying spaces in a white institution. Well, I've been there also. I can relate. I have a message. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Could I hear you?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Our next presenter is here. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm sorry, Miss Lena.
I'll just go right to the end and say my closing affirmation, and then we can move on. I do not limit God by seeing limitations in myself. With God and myself, all things are possible. Believe me when I say that you're in the right place, and every time you need to come to that perfect time. I tell life what I want and I allow it to happen. I am connected with the higher power. My life is a joy. I'm always in charge. I'm always safe. I'm good enough. I let go of the need of any unwanted conditions in my life. I always prosper. Let it be so, and so it is. Have a great day, children.
Thank you, Miss Lena, for starting us off this morning. Thank you for always being here and sharing space with us and just starting us off on the right foot. We're so grateful and appreciative of you and for continuing the work that you do and being a blessing in all of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will go ahead and continue and move right into our next, continuing the introductions and welcomes this morning. I'd like to introduce our Assistant Dean for Academic Partnerships and the Director of CCCP, Mr. Alfred Herrera.
Good morning, and thank you, Lena. Always excited to hear your affirmations. And I just want to welcome everyone to our CCCP family. It is great and exciting to see all of you here. We have some incredible things for today. Thank you to the planning committee who have worked hard to make sure that they address all of many different issues that you may experience throughout your journey. We are here to provide support, to provide motivation, to provide knowledge and information, but we're also here to share and get information from you. So it's important that you ask a lot of questions. It's important that you stay connected to become a CCP scholar so that we can continue to work with you throughout the year. Our goal is to help you get to where your goal will be. And we do a lot of work throughout the year on helping students transition from community college to a university. It is critical and important that you set your goals and that you work towards them. And we are here to help. We have some amazing staff here that we want to make sure that provide support to you. So welcome today. It's going to be a great day. Again, ask a lot of questions. Thank you and have a great day.
All right, thank you, Alfred. So this is our webpage. So you all, if you would like to check out any of the agenda, what we're doing for the day, any of our speakers, their bios, and any of our additional resources, you can go ahead and scan the QR code, or you can also just visit the main webpage. Someone will also put this link into the chat, but yeah, thank you. All right, so now we're going to introduce our planning committee. And again, our committee has been working really hard to put this together for y'all. I'll just start off with myself as I'm speaking. My name is Ariel. I am the program coordinator for CCCP over at West Los Angeles College and LA Southwest College. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm actually a proud transfer student myself. I transferred from Pasadena City College, so shout out to any Lancer. Panthers, and also any folks from West LA and LA Southwest in the building. Yeah, so I transferred from PCC. I was a advisee or a scholar in the program when I was there, transferred to UCLA, and I worked as a peer advisor with CCCP. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, and then afterwards went to work with the transfer center over at PCC, and now I'm back over here working full-time staff, and I'm really excited to be here. And I will hand this back off to Jules.
Hi, good morning again, everyone. I didn't have a chance to introduce myself prior to getting us started, but my name is Juliet Bourne. I am one of the program coordinators here at the Center for Community College Partnerships. I am the program coordinator overseeing our partnership with Los Angeles Valley College, so shout out to any Monarchs in the room. I am also the communications co-coordinator, so I help facilitate and manage our social media pages, so shameless plug. If you're not already following us, please do. I'm sure someone will drop the handle in the chat in a minute. I am I'm a first generation college student, daughter of immigrants from Guyana, South America. I'm again a community college transfer student to UCLA from Santa Monica College. So shout out to my Corsairs in the room. I'm a former CCP scholar, so participated in STP, which is our in-person version of our Black African American programming. Transferred to UCLA, where I earned my bachelor's degrees in English and gender studies, and then became full-time staff at the center. While I was full-time staff, I earned my master's degree from CSUN, California State University in Northridge, in higher education administration. And I am also a PhD student at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, working on my PhD in higher education, focusing on the experiences of transfer students and ensuring equity and access for transfer students, particularly historically marginalized, excluded, and minoritized folks. So basically looking at the experiences of Black folks in higher education is my more specific work. So thank you all for being here and enjoy the day. I would like to also recognize Aurelia Reimer, who is unable to join us today, but she is a program coordinator as well. And she oversees our STEM initiative and STEM partnership work. She was unable to join us today. And I'll hand it over to Sophie.
Hey everybody, my name is Sophie. I transferred to UCLA in 2019 from Pierce College. I'm currently a peer advisor with Pierce College for CCCP. I was also a CCCP scholar, and I just finished my last class at UCLA, English BA, African American Studies minor. So yeah, and I will hand the mic to Kalia.
Hey y'all, my name is Kalia. I transferred here from Sac City with an associate's in math on fall 2020, and now I'm studying more math. I'm also a peer advisor, and yeah, that's it about me. All right.
All right, so now we are going to introduce our full-time staff team. We have a wonderful, wonderful group of transfers or transfer allies, and a lot of them also work our partnerships, directing the program and everything. So I'm going to go based off of who I see first. So give me 1 second. I see Beto.
I saw that one coming. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alberto Moreno. Feel free to call me Beto for short. I'm very happy to be here. Just a little bit about myself. I am a program coordinator with the center overseeing our partnership with Los Angeles Pierce College. So shout out to any Brahmas in the room. I'm very excited about this webinar. Very happy to be here. A little bit about me. I'm also a transfer student. I'm also a proud product of CCCP. A double scholar, participating both in Classic Site in 2013 and Site Plus in 2014. And thanks to this amazing program, I was able to transfer to UCLA, graduated in 2018. I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in counseling at Loyola Marymount University. So any questions you have about undergrad, grad school, law school, whatever it is, we're all here as a resource, a collective resource. So I also want to thank very quickly the planning committee for this amazing webinar. I'm in love with the Zoom backgrounds. I just want to shout that out. But yeah, welcome, enjoy, and we hope that you learn a lot of things today, as Ariel mentioned in one of our webinars.
Thank you, Beto. Blanca?
Good morning. I saw that coming after, we're doing the bees. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful space. My name is Blanca Cantera Hershey. I'm the office coordinator as well as the communications co-coordinator along with my Libra sister, Jewel. I transferred from Santa Monica College to UCLA in 2014. I am a proud product of CCCP. I participated in Classic Site. And it was a very transformative experience. So I really hope that you can take a lot out of this webinar. And I know we oftentimes we talk about not being able to be in person, but I think nonetheless, we can still create a community, and given that we're able to do this virtually, we get to participate in all these different spaces. So I'm just glad to be here and take a lot of information in. And one last thing to mention, this is your space, and we're here for you in any way we can provide support. So welcome to the CCCP family, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Blanca. Claudia?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Black African American Power to the Transfer webinar. Happy to be here today. My name is Claudia Salcedo. I am CCCP's administrative coordinator. I've been with the center for almost 10 years, and I am a UCLA alum. And so first, let me backdrop a little. I'm a proud product of the Coachella Valley, a Chicana from Indio, California. I'm the daughter of immigrants from Michoacan, second of 7 children, and I'm a first-generation college student. I'm the first in my family to graduate high school. I attended UCLA starting almost 20 years ago. I was undergrad in 2000, came in as a freshman, graduated in 2005, majored in Chicano Studies and minored in Policy Affairs. And then after I graduated, I'd worked full-time in one of the UCLA departments, the Community Programs Office, as a director for a retention program. And then after that, I pursued my master's degree in Chicano Studies at Cal State Northridge. And in the process of completing my master's degree, then I started working with CCCP. And fast forward to a few years later, I earned my doctorate degree in educational leadership. So that was also from CSUN in 2018, conducting research on the Black transfer student experience. So good morning, welcome. And as everyone mentioned, we are here for you, ask questions. Very excited to be here with you all today, and have a great webinar, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Salcedo. The next is Frank.
Thank you, Aria. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your webinar. My name is Frank Castorena Jr. I am a program coordinator here at the Center for Community College Partnerships, or CCCP or CCCP, however you want to call us, just call us. A little bit about me. First, I oversee the partnerships between Los Angeles Mission College and Los Angeles Trade College, so go Eagles and go Beavers. A little bit about me. I am a proud transfer first generation student from the best community college in Los Angeles, East Los Angeles College, so go Huskies if we got any Huskies in the house. I transferred to UCLA and double majored in sociology and Chicano Studies. I did work as a peer advisor while I was at UCLA for CCP. I think I worked around 8 community colleges while I was there, so I worked at a lot of community colleges. After graduating from UCLA with 2 BAs, I ended up applying to grad school, and ended up getting into the other school with the other mascots and the other color. I got into their master's in social work program, and so I ended up graduating with an MSW. I am a Brojan, what they call Brojans, so a Bruin and a Trojan combined, so I'm a Brojan. Thank you for being here and sharing space with us, building community. Like Alfred said, please ask a lot of questions. If folks share their info, please grab their info and start networking with them. Thank you once again. Enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Frank. And some other folks were unable to be here today, but they do send their love. They're excited for y'all, and they do welcome y'all into this space. So that is our full-time staff. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, for our land acknowledgement. The Center for Community College Partnerships at UCLA acknowledged the Tongva peoples as the traditional land caretakers of the Tavangar and are grateful to have the opportunity to work for the indigenous peoples in this place. As a land grant institution, we pay our respects to ancestors, elders, and our relatives/relations, past, present, and emerging.
All right, y'all, before I read this, I just want to do like a slight trigger warning. Take care of yourselves first. We will be discussing themes of violence and death. So if you need to step away or turn the volume down on your computer, you can do so for a few minutes until we get back to our regular slides. All right, so I'll be reading the Black Lives Matter statement. To our students and colleagues in the Black community and across the diaspora, we stand with you. You are valued and an important member of our campus and off-campus family. We all need to acknowledge the challenges and work to change them. We must work together as people of color and allies, people who are concerned about our future, to eliminate these systematic disparities. We take a stand today and always because Black lives matter.
Hello, everyone. We just wanted to reiterate CCCP's statement on stopping AAPI hate. CCCP condemns hateful acts of violence, harassment, and rhetoric targeting Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, and Desi Americans. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been an alarming increase in the discrimination and violence perpetrated on the APIDA community. These acts of violence are nothing new. We are disturbed by these xenophobic, racially motivated attacks. CCCP stands in solidarity with all of our students, colleagues, and community partners who experience marginalization and threat. Thank you.
Now on to UCLA transfer students and the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the pandemic impacts is that the death rate for Latino people is 21%, and for Black people is 9% higher than statewide. Case rate for communities with medium income with less than 40K is 37% higher than statewide. Community college students have largest negative impact, particularly men of color who have experienced largest enrollment drops. For UCLA return to campus, for fall 2021, close to 80% of courses will be offered in person as well as most labs. UC will require anyone accessing UC facilities or in-person UC programs to be fully vaccinated prior to the fall term. UCLA is planning on campus housing this fall and expects to offer housing to first-year transfers and to a higher percentage of second-year transfers. And lastly, Los Angeles mandates masks into effect Saturday night, July 17th.
Good morning, everybody. So we're going to get a little bit into critical race theory in education and how CCCP, the Center for Community College Partnership, uses critical race theory in the work that it does, and how it uses critical race theory to help students understand that some of the dominant ideologies that exist about them are actually not a negative thing, but a positive thing that they can use and that people have used to benefit them in positive ways. And critical race theory helps people understand the centrality of race and racism in education. It helps value the experience of knowledge that certain communities carry, and the interdisciplinary and the intersectionality that exists within many communities, meaning not everybody is uniformly the same. And it's also its commitment to social justice. And it says only 9% of Black students and 10% of Latinx students enrolling in 2013 to 2014 were supported to transfer within 4 years, compared to 70% and 24% of their white and Asian peers, respectively. This is despite roughly equal rates of declaring a goal involving earning a degree and or transferring. And so critical race theory is, you'll hear a lot about it as you get to know more about CCCP, and you'll also be able to understand how we use that to look at your culture, look at your experiences, and instead of seeing them as a negative thing, they actually become the reason why you have so many strengths.
All right, so I'm going to give a really, really brief overview of community cultural wealth. So Dr. Tarayoso describes community cultural wealth as the various knowledges, the skills, the experiences that people of color use to survive and resist racism and other forms of oppression. And it's a direct challenge to that dominant ideology where it's said that there's really only richness or any wealth that are typically in predominantly white male cis abled communities. So we understand that we're all here, we're on this call. This is like an act of navigational capital, being on this call, navigating, signing up for this, and being here right now. Even for social capital, making those connections with your different professors, the different programs that you might be in, searching out those Ujima or Umoja programs, searching out CCCP. And then also we know that there's so much wealth within our culture as well. And also we have resistant capital. So even just, again, being here, being in higher education, because in these systems that are born out of these oppressive systems, these anti-Black systems, they don't want us to be here, and we're here. You all are on this call. So that is another act of capital and richness within our culture. Yeah.
All right, community guidelines and etiquette. Respect the cyber community. Please keep your microphone muted and clicked on speaker view. If you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to utilize the chat feature. Questions will be answered during the Q&A portions of the webinar. Step in, step back when Diva one mic. Challenge ideas, not the messenger. And most importantly, do not be afraid to ask. Okay, and then our agenda for the day, you can scan this QR code or type in this tiny URL. So we just did our welcome and blessing. We will be heading into our keynote address. Afterwards, we will have a breakout discussion, which will also be followed by a discussion and Q&A in the main room. And then we will head into our closing, and we will have a break from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. We'll head back in with a Black Bruin Experience game, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then we will follow that with Black Bruin transfer experience discussion. Then we will have our resource fair, and then we will have our closing and raffle.
All right, folks. So we got through our introductions. We are just waiting for our keynote speaker. We're a few minutes early, which generally does not happen in CCP land, unfortunately, because we're busy building space and community and whatnot. But we are waiting for our keynote speaker to arrive. She's scheduled to be here right at 10:40. So in the meantime, if you have any questions or you want to take a quick little, step away for a quick second, grab some water, take care of yourselves, please feel free to do that. And we will start right at 10:40 with our keynote.
Hi, everybody. So actually at this time, while we are waiting for our keynote speaker to arrive, because again, it does start at 10:40, we are going to ask Miss Brown if you are able, oh, actually, Juliet is here.
I was logging in.
Oh, no, you're good. I'll hand this back over to Jewel. Thank you, Juliet. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Miss Juliet. I think this woman needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her because it is a privilege and an honor to have her here with us and for her to share her narrative and her story and her work with us. I had the privilege of meeting Miss Juliet when I did my first program at STP. And I don't know if she remembers the story, but I remember it. I remember being there and she had shown up and was sharing space with us and sharing, as she always does so graciously. And I had a headache. And I remember walking and I just was asking anybody if they had an aspirin, and no one had an aspirin. And I was looking for a store on campus and nothing was open because it was the summertime and it was really early in the morning and nothing was open. And she goes, "Come here, baby, I got you." And she walked with me over to AAP, which now is home to me, but walked over into the office that she was in over at AAP and gave me an aspirin. And I will never forget that story because it's one of the first ways that I felt really welcome at UCLA. And it is my hope, and I know that Juliet will make you all feel the same way and welcome and amazing in this space and share her narrative and the work that she's doing. So without further ado, I introduce you to Ms. Juliet Doris.
Hi, Jill. Thank you. Real quick, I seen Alfred. Hey, Alfred, and I seen the lovely Miss Lena Brown. Hi, Miss Lena Brown. I miss you all dearly.
Hello.
Hello. You're muted. Hello. Want to say hi, pay my respects. Jill, thank you. I don't remember, but I love that. Maya Angelou, she says, people always remember what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Look at that. Look at that. We're going to snap it up for Maya Angelou. Thank you for having me and just jumping into sharing my story with you guys all. I came from community college, West LA. For those of you, I don't know how long you guys have been there, but for me, it was 12 years. Having children off and on, in and out the system, in and out of working, and then having children. I went to high school. I went to college right after high school because that's what you're supposed to do. So I checked in at community college, not knowing about becoming IGETC certified, not knowing about transferable units, non-transferable units, not knowing the difference between a UC and a R1 institution, and not just knowing about just different colleges. I was just there because I was supposed to. Fast forward, had a couple kids, dropping in and out. I've been academically dismissed because I didn't really take it too seriously. And I finally decided to get I kind of cursed, but I'm gonna try to bring it in. I started to get my shit together in 2008. I decided, you know what? I was working at FedEx. Either I'm gonna drive this white big truck for FedEx or get this Range Rover for myself. And for me to obtain the life that I wanted, I knew that I had to seek higher education. So 2008, I got my shit together. I re-enrolled into community college. Mind you, I had been academically dismissed because my GPA was like a 0.001. Anyway, enroll back into college, start getting it together, met with the transfer counselors to learn what am I supposed to be doing? What is becoming IGETC certified? Oh, you take these classes, so when you get to a UC, you're not taking lower divs. You're starting out where you're supposed to start out. Okay, got that together. Now we're looking into colleges. Well, I'm a Black girl with an immigrant mother. You guys wouldn't know that. My mom's from Central America, from Guyana. She migrated out here at the age of 20. And so I'm first generation. My mother started college, but she didn't finish. So growing up in East LA, I grew up in Ramona Garden Projects. No one around me actually looked like me. It was only 2 Black families in the projects. And no one in my family went to college. So I had no one to ask. I had no guide. I had no blueprint, right? So I had to create that. Anyway, so meeting with counselors in community college, meeting with mentors, Miss Lena Brown, you know, the lovely Casey Hunter, that is my guardian angel. Casey was a UC, he was an admin officer at UCLA. And it's so funny, I worked in a transfer center, but because you have this imposter syndrome, right? I felt that I wasn't able to go to a university like UCLA because they don't let Black girls like me. I was a teenage mom. I had my first kid at 17. I dropped out of high school. You know, like I stated, I was in and out of college. People like me don't go to UCLA. So every time in the transfer center where I worked, you can see the UC rep that was coming, I would avoid Casey because he was going to ask me about going to university. And I was like, I didn't feel I was good enough, to be honest. So every time Casey would come, I would not come to work. And one day he popped up and caught me slipping. And so Casey, perfect Casey format. What's going on, young lady? Hey, Mr. Hunter. So what's going on? I'm here. What's going on with you? Trying to get into UCLA. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm going to Cal State Long Beach, okay? Because I'm going to major in criminal justice. Side note, my father was a sheriff. He wasn't in my life. So I vicariously tried to have a relationship with him. I'm going to major in criminal justice. So I was like, Casey, I'm majoring in criminal justice and I'm going to Long Beach. And he was like, okay, but you have to apply to more than one college. No, I don't, because I'm getting in that college and that's where I'm going. He was like, no, you have to apply to more colleges. Print out your transcripts. So I was so ratchet and turned up, y'all. So I print out my transcripts here. And he was like, I had like a 3.8. He was like, do you know that you can go to UCLA? No, I can't. People like me don't get into UCLA. They don't let people like girls like me in. So with all that being said, and my other guardian angel, Iris Lucetto, Dr. Lucetto, actually now, I started meeting with her and she was like, no, you're going to apply to this UC. And I was just like, I don't know why y'all wasting your time with me. I'm not going to get in. Fast forward, Triple CP will come to West LA and they'll hold their workshops. Iris, it was Friday. She was like, I'll be back on Monday, Juliet. Start writing your personal statement and I need you to bring it to me on Monday. So Sunday night approaches and I'm like, I have nothing. And she was like, I was like, Iris is going to be back on Monday. Y'all, she going to ask me. And so I started writing and it's so funny. It started off with a paragraph and I have all my revisions. That just triggered me to say, maybe I can do this because I had people that believed in me, that actually attended UCLA, that were actually people of color. So started writing my personal statement. And as time went on, I started applying to colleges and I completed everything I needed to. I applied to UCLA. I remember I was in South Bay Galleria. I forgot the day, but I was going to Wetzel Pretzel because they had the 2 for $5, right? So I was there getting my Wetzel Pretzel. And my friends started giving, people in my cohort start getting their decisions. And my friend David Grace called me, lovely David Grace. He was like, Jay, decisions are in. And I'm like, oh, I'm nervous. I got my pretzel. I'm walking around. I'm like, I'm not going to open it because I need to see that beer. And if I don't know what I'm going to do. So people started hitting me up like, are you in? We in. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So went ahead, opened it up. And of course I see the beer. Congratulations. I was just so taken aback because I didn't believe that I was accepted into UCLA. For those of you in community college, I digress again. Do not wait to the damn last quarter. I'm sorry. It is a semester to take your math and English. I know we struggle with that. Do not, I repeat, wait until the last semester to take your math and English. Get that shit out the way. I know it's hard. You may have to break down math 115 because you can do, it goes from 115 to 125 to stats 227. If you need to take 115, break that up in 2, do what you need to do, get that shit out the way. Because what happened? Juliet waited until the last semester to take stats. And what happened? Juliet did not pass stats. I went to every class 4 days a week. I went to all my professor office hours. I went to study groups. I studied on my birthday. I remember, and I did not deviate from studying, but something within me innately just would not click. I could not get stats for the life of me. It would have taken Jesus Christ to come down here and help me. And he was from up above assisting me. And I was just trying to do my part. Didn't pass stats. So at this point, I was in a relationship with my children's father. I knew it was over. UCLA was my out because I was going to move into family housing. I'm talking about my mother and my son came and moved all my stuff out into family housing, only for UCLA to rescind my admission because they got that D. Because once you get in, you're going to become provisional. Because I'm going to speak that into your life wherever you're going. Once you get accepted, you're going to become provisional, and they'll tell you that means that in order to successfully transfer to this university, to this Cal State, wherever you choose to go, these are the grades that you have to get. I got that D. When I reported it, they snatched everything back, honey. They snatched my housing, my edges, this everything that I had going on. So I had to appeal. And nonetheless, I ended up doing TSP. You guys will do TSP too. And stats concurrently. Come to find out, AAP supported me through that. Once you guys get to UCLA, I'm just speaking that into your life. You will understand how important AAP is. And so I got it. I was provisional. So I'm taking stats and I'm in TSP at the same time. It was really, really tough. That's why I don't be wanting to hear nobody cry. Because it's like, you guys don't understand being a single parent with 3 kids doing stats and TSP concurrently. and my grades and my housing and everything was on the line, was really stressful. And I wanted to quit many times, but AAP had my back and they supported me. And lo and behold, I ended up passing both. And I became a Bruin. I graduated, so I transferred to UCLA. I think I skipped that. And you see, I'm non-traditional, unorthodox. I transferred to UCLA in 2010. I majored in African American Studies with the minor in Women's Studies. Once I graduated, I petitioned to graduate. I had bought my regalia and everything, right? My mentors from AAP, Dr. John Lee Tunstall, Dr. Alice Ho, Shantae Henderson, everybody was like, so what's up with grad school? Mind you, I worked for AAP. The grad office was down the hall. Dr. Alice Ho, I love her to death, to this day, to life. Never went in there and talked about graduate school because I knew that I was going to make $250,000 because I'm graduated from UCLA and I'm going to be popping. They were like, yeah, no, you have to go to graduate school. And I honestly did not know what that was. I was tired of being in school because remember, I went back in like 2008. Now it's 2013. So I've been in school consecutively. They were like, you have to go to graduate school. Every time a group of students would come on campus, I would stop them. Hey, what are you doing? Where are you guys from? Or do you guys want to come here? People of color. They'd be like, yeah, but we can't get in. It was all baby Juliet. So every time I saw a group of students, I would speak life into them, tell them that they belong here, that representation matters. Like, you guys need to be here. Yes, there's a small population of African-American students. However, you belong here. You do the work. You can get here if this is where you want to be. So based on that, my mentors were like, Juliet, you're a social justice advocate. And I'm like, what the hell is that? They're like, you don't see, like, I was part of so many honorary clubs because of having children. I was never formally a part of it because, honey, those meetings are like on Wednesday at 3:00. That's wild. After class, I have to go catch the bus, get my car, go get my kids, 3 different kids, right? I had 3 children, 1 in high school, middle school, elementary. It was wild, right? Pick them up, homework, dinner. I'm not starting my homework until 11 o'clock at night. So I never really joined any type of club because those 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, midday was wild. So anyway, they were like, you're a social justice advocate. You have to get your master's in social work. And I'm like, how long that's gonna take? Because it's 2 years. I'm like, y'all, wow. I've been in school for like 6 years. I'm tired. They were like, it don't matter. So I took another year. I was like, okay. I went down to financial aid. They let me know that I had more financial aid to be covered for another year. So I stayed another year, started studying for the GRE and start researching graduate school programs. I know that I have children that were still in school. Realistically, I wasn't moving out of state. I wasn't relocating. So I only applied to UCLA and that other school, USC, across the river, across the pond. I applied to those 2 programs. I got accepted. But as you guys should know, we're going to go where the money reside. So UCLA offered me full funding for my first year. I applied for scholarships and I was granted a scholarship that covered my first year. So I went where the money reside. And I was like, okay, I accepted that offer and I completed my master's social work at UCLA, the disrespect, at Luskin in 2015. And as you see, I am at work. This building behind me is DCFS. I am a social worker for the Department of Children and Family Services. October 23rd will make it 6 years that I've been working for the department. And it is a very interesting career. It's a very hard career. It's a very rewarding career. And it's very doable. So with that being said, that's just some of my life. And I want to open it up to any questions or whatnot. I think I covered everything I needed to cover, Jewel, right?
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story and for sharing your narrative. We do want to open it up for questions. So if folks have questions, you can put them in the chat.
Wait, one thing I just want to share, I forgot. Sure. I told you I was a teenage mom. The son I had at 17, Melvin Knox III, he just graduated from UCLA last year. And then my children's father, Gregory Arnold, he graduated from UCLA 2 years ago, earning his bachelor's, and he just graduated with his master's. We just celebrated him in June. So we're truly triple Bruins. And looking at my family, you guys wouldn't tell, because why I love doing these panels and sharing my story is I like to help demystify and break down preconceived notions of what you think a UCLA student looks like. Because every time I wore my UCLA gear or I said I went to UCLA, the first thing people would ask me is, Oh, am I a fan? Like one day, my daughter was having a birthday party. I stayed in family housing. We were at Ralph's. I was like, I'm getting her balloons. And I was like, Fudge, do you want a couple of UCLA balloons? And the cashier was like, oh, that's cool. Are you a fan? No, honey, your child's a fan. I'm a student. And I never got that up front that I was a student. I always had that UCLA extension. No, the big one that sits in Westwood, not the extension part. So just part of owning it and helping demystify what someone looks like. I'm a social worker, as you see. I have my tattoos. I have piercings. You can see some of them. I'm at work with my Chucks on. This is just how I express myself. What's going on out here does not quantify what's going on in here. This is self-expression, and I'm very capable of doing my job, and I'm very aware of my roles and responsibilities. And when I go into my neighborhoods and I work with my families, I work in South LA. I look like them. They look like me. They're like, yeah, the social worker's coming. And I'm like, I'm the social worker. You're the social worker. And then I'm like, oh, you're my social worker. Because I look like them. I talk like them. I come from where they come from. So I understand. And I think I'm better able to relate and help my families because I have so much power in this badge and so much power in the pen, but I don't utilize that improperly. I understand that to whom much is given, much is required. So I try to understand. And I may not agree with what people do, but when you understand coming from a socioeconomically disadvantaged neighborhood, I feel that our population, our people they have to choose from a lesser of two evils. So once I hear the circumstances and what's going on, and they tell me what happened as I read this referral, because that's just black and white, how somebody reported it. I'm here to get your own narrative, because you remember, you got to write your own narrative or somebody else will write it for you. I may not agree with their choices and their decisions. However, this job has taught me a higher level of understanding and empathy. And I may not agree with what they do, but based on their decisions and choices, I understand. And that's so big. And we need to have that understanding. Okay. I'm going to open it up to y'all. Go ahead with y'all questions and whatnot here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to follow that with a question, but I think one of the questions I have to start us off, right? And you talked a lot about it, Juliet, and so thank you again for sharing. But I think for me, it's that how do you stay motivated when you have all of those things going on? You started to talk about it a little bit, but if you want to elaborate, when you're juggling multiple things, when you've got multiple priorities, when you've got real life priorities, right? Like your children, like work, like, little, like what other people would consider little things, like trying to make it to the bus on time, those sorts of things. Like, how do you navigate that and stay motivated?
I'm going to say for you all to stay motivated, first thing you have to realize, remember when you guys are flying on the airplane, I love to travel internationally. When you're on that plane, if something happens in an emergency, what do they say? Before you can do anything, right? You got to give yourself that oxygen mask, come down. You got to put it on you. And then you can help your child, your mother, father, anybody else. You have to understand to whom much is given, much is required. If you are first gen like myself, your family's not going to understand that you have to write a 10-page paper. Your family's not going to understand that you cannot make it to all the events. I understand being like, the eldest and having a certain role and responsibilities, and it goes with cultural, that you have obligations. And just because you were in school, your parents are not going to understand that. That's going to be a battle you guys are going to have to deal with, but you have to understand, if you can't put on your life mask, your mask to breathe, how can you help anybody? So we have this theory, reach back and pull forward, right? You have to go ahead and decide that some people are going to be upset. Some people are not going to understand, and that is children included. My children will tell you, my mom was always in school. My mom is always busy. To this day, my kids are so funny. They'll call me and be like, can you add me on your calendar so you can do X, Y, and Z? It's not bragging, but it's just prioritizing, because I know that I have to go to work every day in order to feed us, right? I know that I have to pay my rent, light, gas, and my bills in order to keep my household going. So you're going to prioritize what you need to do. And some people are not going to like it, and some people are not going to understand. But two, you have to understand, people can only understand you and meet you as deep as they've met and they've understood their self. First thing in social work 101, you start where the client's at. You're going to start where your family's at. They're not going to always understand, but understand this, that if God wanted them to go, he would have given them a plane ticket to get on that plane. He gave you the plane ticket. So you have to understand that this is my journey, because honey, your casket does not have a bunk bed. When it's your time, it's your time. So it's going to be hard and uncomfortable, but you have to decide that this is what you want. And I also have a mantra I say to myself every day, Juliet, sacrifice for what you want, or what you want will become the sacrifice.
Horrible.
And I'm done.
Quotable, sacrifice for what you want. I need you to repeat that one more time.
Sacrifice for what you want, or what you want will become the sacrifice.
Okay, someone needs to put that in the chat so everybody sees
Put it in there. Put it in there.
You know, we're quoting Juliet on social media. We're doing all the things.
Y'all better tag me. Y'all better tag me.
There was a question in the chat from Mai, who's one of our peer advisors, but she wanted to know there's a couple of questions coming in the chat. The first one is, what moments of rock bottom redefined your journey in social work?
What moments of rock bottom define my journey?
Yeah.
Define what, meaning like what?
Yeah, Mai, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes.
What were like some of, how would I say, like, like crap that you had to like readjust or relearn during your, and I meant to say just your journey in life, but if you want to touch upon social work.
I want to answer your question, like what, something about rock bottom. Like you said, what? I want to understand the question.
Yeah, so were there any like low points during this journey that really defined like who you are?
Low points. I used to work in a unit called CSEC, commercially sexually exploited children that young, there's no such thing as child prostitution according in California. So being a low point for me in this job was understanding that I can only go as hard for people, including my family, as people want to go for themselves, being reprimanded by my superiors for doing what I signed up to do. And I felt like, how am I sitting here defending myself in this position that I signed up for to do exactly what I said I was going to do? And for me, that was like the over explaining. Like, people are already ready to misunderstand you. So here I am fighting all over the top, trying to be understood. And I realized that what's understood don't need to be explained. And then I just stopped, because no matter what I do, I am Juliet Doris, MSW. But in this world we live in, I am a Black woman. Then I'm Juliet. But in my world, I'm motherfucking Juliet's. So once you realize that no matter what you do, people are going to judge and look at you the way they want to regardless, why not show up as yourself? You're your unapologetic true self. So that having to explain my position, I felt so small. And I was like, I'm never going to allow anybody to make me feel that way. And I told my ARA, I said, this is the last time I'll be in your office about this. And I promised him, you won't never get another email about me. You'll never get anything, because I'm very passionate. And to know me is to know injustice, small or big, I'm there, I'm going to say something. So having to explain who I am when I've shown that was the aha moment for me. Like, okay, continue to walk in your truth, Juliet, continue to be who you are. And those that are meant for you will continue to align in your life. And those who aren't, they will fall off, baby. And it's okay, because you let karma have their way, because you don't know that's between them and Jesus. So I hope that answers kind of what you were asking me.
Thank you, OG. I still remember when you spoke in TSP 2019 as a guest for the research class.
Oh, Professor San Juan?
Yeah.
Oh, she just hit me up on Instagram. She wanted me to speak to some students yesterday. I just talked to her. I'm glad you remember. Oh, I remember that. I said some stuff.
I still have an IG story.
I'm glad you remember. Thank you for sharing that. It makes me feel good, because I say so much and I forget, but thank you for sharing that.
Just legendary. Like Juliet's the person to know.
I appreciate that, Ju. It's just, you're going to find your voice. I wasn't always like this. I didn't find my voice until like my kind of second year at UCLA, because you have so much power within. Everything you need, all the tools that you need in life are already planted within you. God has given you guys everything that you need. It's just what tools you pick up and how you execute and how you use them. No one can tell you what you already know about yourself. It's just you getting in tune of who you are and believing in yourself, because there's nothing that I can say to you that's not already innately within you. that you don't know. It's just believing and going ahead and walking by that faith and not by sight. Because if you were to ask me, this was never my journey. I said I'm going to college because it's the right thing to do. I did not know that this was going to be my life, but I'm so grateful because I know who I am now. God, you know, they said God doesn't equip. He doesn't call the equip. He equips the call. So he knew what he had. She knew what she had for my life. So it's like, I'm just living to see everything come into fruition. And I love doing panels like this because I just get to share. I'm a regular person. You know, I grew up with so much adversity. I have a problem with immigration. I have a mother that's an immigrant. I have a brother who got deported. And so looking at me as a Black woman, you wouldn't think that I have there's so many intersectionalities within me, but just looking at me, you wouldn't know that. So that's what I love about just life, because we should not judge a book by its cover, but we do. And you never know who's going to help you, who's going to be for you, and who's going to become a part of your life. And like from CCCP and Jewel, AAP, they become a part of my family. There's nothing that they can ask me to do that I won't ever do for free. That's how much CCCP and AAP has rocked with me and had my back. So, yeah. Zaria, somebody has a question. I see your hand. Zanaya.
Yeah, Zanaya. Oh, you got her.
It's Zania.
Hey, beautiful. Okay.
I'm at work right now, but I just just moved here from Georgia 2 years ago, and I remember being from a small town in Georgia. I never would have thought I would have the opportunity to go to UCLA. Like, I'm just thankful to even have the opportunity to apply. And so just hearing you talk about your experience is just saying, like, you know, you had imposter syndrome and how you felt like people like me don't go to UCLA. Like, that's how I felt. So I really resonate with that. And I just it almost brought me to tears because I just really want to thank you so much for that. I just wanted to say thank you.
You are welcome. You guys can reach out to me. I don't know how many people on here, but you can find me on my IG. It's my name, Juliet. I think it's Juliet Doris.msw on IG. Also want to say, for those of you applying, when you write your personal statement, understand, people have asked me to read them. Man, if them first 2 sentences don't grab me, I don't want to read it. And I'm going to tell you the truth. But when you write your statement, I'm going to give you this piece of advice. Please don't write in context of, write it. I'm going to share my advice. This is who I am. This is who I was. This is who I am. And this is who I'm going to be. Not UCLA or whatever university or Cal State you want to go to. Once you get that degree, you're going to be like this philanthropist, because I'm going to read it and say, why aren't you embodying or practicing philanthropy now? So nobody wants to read the woe is me. We've all been through something. Give us a little paragraph and show them how you've overcome that adversity, how you're resilient, right? No one wants to read 50 million paragraphs about why the world is against you. That's cute and all. Let that go. Tell your story. Move on. No one wants to read about your parents or your grandparents for 5 pages. You only get so many words. Use your words lightly. Use them. Be aware of what you say. You can talk about, your grandparents may have raised you, or your parents. I'm not interviewing them. You have to understand too, your personal statement is your interview. You don't get to meet them. You see how you guys get to see me and my personality on paper? You don't get all this fabulousness. It is dry. So you need to go ahead and understand that is your first interview. That is your only interview to get into the college that you are trying to apply to. So show them who you are. That first line, you need to open it up. I can remember my statement of purpose I wrote as a African-American single mother navigating her way through poverty, some. I'm telling them who I am. A single mother, former teenage mom, navigating my way through poverty, 2-3 sentences. That's who I am. I'm not going to spend my time saying I'm a single mom. I have my son at 17, and I already said that. So utilize, I think it's 1,000 words. Utilize those 1,000 words. Utilize them correctly. Somebody else had a question? I just wanted to hit y'all with that because it's so important.
Yeah, it is super important. It's actually 350 words. We'll go into that later on as you all become scholars, but it was 1,000 words when we wrote it. So that we just dating ourselves through yet.
Well, it's been a while. I graduated in 15. I said that it's been a while, but utilize them wisely. I'll just leave you with that. And just remember that that's your interview. That is your first and only interview, because they don't get to meet you and they're reading thousands of applications. So make sure that you have that drop the mic. And I'm not saying embellish. I'm not saying that. Your truth is your truth. And remember, that's another thing. When I was writing my statement, after I realized 5 different people telling me to tell my story, you cannot tell my story better than me. Once I realized what I wanted to say, I just went and got assistance with making sure it transitioned and it was grammatically correct. Other than that, your opinion and what you think I should say and how you think I should feel does not matter, because that is not my lived experience. It is your lived experience. So once you have down what you want to say, I'm not looking for opinions. I want to make sure, and I went to the writing center at that point because now it's not personal and they're making sure it's grammatically correct and that it's transitioned properly.
Just gems, right? Just absolute gems.
Just a few.
Just a few of them. I love people who have already started to find you on Instagram and dropping your handle.
Hey,
in the chat. I love it. This is what
I promise I'm gonna respond to you all. I talk to everybody. I'm not I love interacting.
We're doing it. We're out here building community, and I love it. And that's one way that we're building community with one another. As we wrap up, are there any parting words that you want to share with our students as, just empowering and motivating? You've already done such an incredible job, and just
I
if there's
appreciate
anything
you.
else.
I just want to say that you are exactly, as a community college student, I went back to school at 30. I transferred to UCLA at 30, right? Know that you are exactly, that's what I'm gonna share. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not behind. It's not too late. You're not too old. Because initially when I enrolled to UCLA, I did feel a little funny with younger children because I was with my peers because I was older. But know that if you were meant to be there in a university or your Cal State earlier, God would have placed you there. You had to have gone through everything you've gone through, because remember, when you're taking the test, right, the teacher's always silent, which is God. And if the same tests keep on showing up, that means that you have not learned a lesson. So it means you're not prepared. So while you guys are preparing to transition into the next phase of your life, what we do selfishly and blindly is we ask God to give us things. God, give me another car. God, give me another job. God, give me another house. A, are you appreciating what God has already bestowed upon you? And B, stop asking God to give you stuff and ask God to prepare you to receive the things that you are asking for and to sustain you when these things come your way. Let's change up the prayer to ask to be put in a position to receive the abundance of blessings that you guys will receive, because I want God to give you guys keys to all locked doors, but you have to remember that you need to be prepared to sustain and learn how to navigate what you are asking for. That's what I will leave you with.
Yeah, I knew we were going to church today. So for those of us, whatever sort of spiritual, whoever
higher power, praise
whoever
your
the
way
higher
through
power
it.
is, right?
Praise your way through it. Through the good, the bad, and the ugly, Jewel. Don't praise them when it's good. Praise them when it's bad. And every time I encounter something, when something happens, we are not victims. None of us are victims on this Zoom today. We are all survivors and we are all overcomers, right? And when you're going through a situation, when something happens to me, I don't look to the other person. Oh God, why me? Why did this person? Remember, people only treat you the way you allow them. So you got to teach people how to treat you. But when something happens, I look for the lesson. What is the lesson in this blessing? What part did I play? And when I encounter this again, hopefully I don't, how will I navigate my way through this differently next time? Don't look outside. You always look inward. And don't blame anybody for anything. Say, what role did I play? How did I contribute? What would I have done differently? This is what my takeaway, and this is what I'm going to do differently next time. Because believe me, there's always a blessing and a lesson in every situation that you feel that is unfavorable or undesirable. Okay?
All right.
I love you guys. I love you all, and there's nothing you guys can do about it.
Thank you, Juliet. I am mad love for you. Thank you for coming through. I know you're at work, so we're gonna let you go. We're gonna let you go to work and do the amazing things that you're doing and serving people and serving community and loving on people. So thank you so much for sharing with us and being here and continuing to build community with us. I have mad love for you.
Thank you for having me. Jewel, I'm a little slow, but for sure, I'm always here. Whatever else you guys need, I'm always gonna be down for Triple CP. Whenever, whatever. I'm going to give you what I'm supposed to give.
Thank you, Juliet.
You're welcome. And hopefully I'll be in contact with you guys, maybe one day in person when you guys wear your mask and act socially responsible. We can meet. Thank you, Jewel.
Take care.
Bye, Alfred. Bye, lovely Lena Brown. Thank you so much.
Bye, Juliet. Thank you very much. Always great to see you.
Bye, Juliet.
Thank you, guys. Thank everyone. Have a good and have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye, Albert. Bye.
Well, we just went to church this morning. We went to service this morning. We are going to transition now into our next set of activities. And I will turn it over to Miss Ariel.
Thank you, Jewel. Yeah, that was amazing. I was looking at the day. I was like, it's Wednesday. I usually go to church on Sundays, but that was amazing. But now we are going to get into our breakout rooms. So we're going to put y'all into some breakout rooms, and we're going to be focusing on a discussion about Black in the Ivory Tower. To give a little bit of background about that, so Black in the Ivory Tower, the basis or the foundation of the topic or experience, it's been around for a while, but as of late or recently became a hashtag and trending, a full movement predominantly through Twitter. And it was created by two Black women, Sharday Davis and Joy Melody Woods, and they worked in predominantly white institutions or PWIs. And so Black in the Ivory Tower is meaning or talking about the experiences that we as Black folks have in predominantly white spaces. And this discussion is specifically going to be focusing on us being in predominantly white spaces in higher education. It is going to be facilitated by our awesome Black Bruin fam, our Black Bruin transfer fam. All these folks have transferred to UCLA at some point. Some of them have worked directly with us in CCCP. So we are going to, again, like I said, put you in breakout rooms with Aisha, Roshan, Pearl, Diamond, Josh, Cody, and Julie. And once you go into those breakout rooms, I'm just letting you know, you're going to be asked various questions, and just select someone to come back to the group, because you're going to be getting into a larger group discussion to talk about what you spoke about in those breakout rooms. So just bear in mind that someone will be speaking. Select someone to speak from your group once you come back. But I think, Sophie, if you're able to open up the rooms.
Okay, so I'm sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties. I had it all set up, but something happened. So just a moment. It will be open soon. Thank you for your patience. Right.
Well, while she's doing that, I want to just say hi to all the former CCP scholars and mentors, Aisha, Rashan, Julie, Diamond, everybody. Good to see you all.
Hi, Alfred. Good to see everyone.
Hi, Alfred.
Hey.
Good to see you too.
See, welcome to the family, y'all. We are very much a family. We just we just asked all of our really dope friends to come back and share space with you all. So basically, that's what we do at CCP. We create space, and we create community, and we create family with one another. So I'm really jazzed about seeing everybody. So hi, everybody. I miss everyone so much, and I want to hug everyone. And this is what we do. This is almost 20 years of building community with this particular program. And so you're seeing all the good people who are here to support you.
Hi, Pearl. Hey, Josh.
The rooms should be open. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry about that, everybody.
So is this when you say go to your room?
As people are moving, I think.
Yeah.
Your room, Alfred.
I will see you all later. I'll come back in later a bit.
Yay, thanks, Alfred.
Thank you. Ms. Brown, let's talk soon.
Okay.
Sophie, are you able to pause the recording since are you able to pause it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Folks should have, if you need us to move you into a room or haven't gotten the notification, let us know.
Sophie, do you mind making Jewel and I co-host? Please.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, I think everyone who is not staff has been put in a room. Oh, nope, there's a couple of people. Beja, Victoria, did you all need to be put in a room? And forgive me if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Not sure if they're here. Shavar.
Oh, I think it's still live on YouTube.
Oh,